The current trend in the NFT space is hype, and with hype comes a lot of people trying to buy the same thing all at once. And when that happens, Ethereum gas prices go through the roof, which causes what's commonly known as gas wars. Collectors try to outbid each other by paying higher gas amounts to force their transaction to go through quicker, and thus yielding them that precious, shiny new NFT. One of the recent ways that projects are combating gas wars is by putting together pre-sales and putting together what is known as a whitelist. A whitelist spot is pretty much like your golden ticket that guarantees you a chance to mint a new NFT from a collection. And usually people that have whitelist spots will have access to get pre-sale. In other words, they can buy their items before the public sale or the public mint. Now, this trend has become so popular that major projects like Memecoin and Hatebeast and some others have resorted to doing whitelists only for their launches. In other words, there are no public mints for these projects. The only way you can buy into these projects at the mint is by being on the whitelist. This exclusivity has basically defeated the entire purpose of what gas was created for on Ethereum in the first place. The gas mechanism allows users to pay a premium in order to get their transaction processed quicker. In other words, it allows you to be at the front of the line. When there's a whole bunch of transactions lined up in a queue, you can pay a higher gas fee to skip the line and go to the front. Now, when whitelists were introduced for NFTs, that kind of circumvented the entire process of paying gas by eliminating gas wars. In one way, this is great because you don't have to pay outrageous gas fees, but on the other hand, you have to sacrifice a whole lot of time grinding to get on some of these whitelists. For example, one of the members in my Patreon group actually just spent the last 3 weeks and several hours each day grinding just to get on Hatelist, which is Hatebeast's whitelist. And he succeeded, so congrats to him, but I will say that many of you watching this, myself included, just don't have that amount of time to spend grinding for a whitelist. So with that in mind, let's look at the 3 strategies you can use to help yourself get on whitelists for these big projects. Number 1, and this may upset you, but this is where the NFT space is at right now, and that is alpha groups. An alpha group is nothing other than a community of people that spread alpha or intel and insight and knowledge on great new projects with each other. A lot of top tier alpha groups are able to use their influence in the space to get themselves whitelist spots for these big projects. Basically, NFT projects are willing to give whitelist spots to these notable groups that have a lot of investors and holders of other major projects, hoping that those investors will also be a good addition to their project. Now, the amount of whitelist spots that an alpha group can bring to its members depends on their size, their influence, and just their overall connection to other projects and people in the space. But realistically, most alpha groups will be able to get anywhere from 50 to a couple hundred whitelist spots for most new projects. One of the most notable groups in the space is Metaverse HQ. They are known for having a pretty solid group of people that are in their membership. They have a lot of great connections, and they're one of the first true alpha groups in the space. Being a part of that membership can help you get free whitelist spots just for being a member in the group. However, it is not cheap to be a member in that group. Currently, the access token costs 2.5 Ethereum, which is roughly $10,000. And there are only 1,500 spots available for that group, so if you want to be part of those 1,500 people that have all that alpha access, you need to pay roughly $10,000 just to get in the door. So needless to say, if you want to be part of that membership, you have to be a pretty hardcore degen to make the price worth it. Another alpha group I would recommend is my own. My alpha group is much more affordable than Metaverse HQ, and we do offer a couple other tools that I don't think many alpha groups do. Obviously, we have a community of a lot of people that are really helpful and help each other find great projects. We also do give out whitelist spots. In addition to those 2 things, I also do a monthly NFT calendar, which lists out all of the top projects that our community and myself are looking at each month. As you can see here, the ROI on the past 2 months on some of these projects, if you got in at the mint price, have been truly life-changing. I know several members in our membership have made $20,000 and $30,000 flips off of some of these calendar projects. I also offer other tools like an NFT buy list and an NFT portfolio tracker that's just added value to the group. So if you want to join our alpha group and just our community in general, you can check out the Patreon link here or in the link in the description below. That brings us to strategy number 2, owning previous collections or NFTs that the team has worked on prior to the project you're looking to get into. Some new NFT collections have a team that has worked on other NFT projects prior to it. And a lot of times what will happen is those teams will reward the previous project owners in their new project. So if you own an NFT from their previous collection, that usually will give you a whitelist spot to their future collections. Each project does this a little bit differently. For example, we saw this with Artifact's Clone X. If you own previous Artifact NFTs, you were able to get on the pre-sale for the Clone X mint. Another example is Journey's NFT. If you buy his initial NFT, you actually get a free mint from his upcoming collections. Similar to that, Invisible Friends, which is launching sometime this month, has two previous collections, Slim Hood and Mood Rollers, which if you owned one of those, you will actually get whitelist spots on Invisible Friends. As you can see here, because of this, the price of those projects has gone pretty much astronomical in the last week or so as soon as people found out about the whitelist opportunity. Some projects have what's called a launch pad, which is very similar to this, where they give away whitelist spots to new projects just for holding that NFT. So for example, I owned a Doge Pound NFT and they gave away 4,000 whitelist spots to Journey's NFT collection. So just by holding a Doge and a pup in that collection, I was able to get a free whitelist spot for Journey's NFT, and then I was able to buy in at the lowest price for that new project. There are a bunch of other projects that have launch pads that works very similar to how an alpha group does, where they give you free whitelists to other projects and add value on top of their NFT by giving you access to other new projects. The third and final strategy in this video is probably going to be the most time-consuming one, and it may be the most obvious, but we have some tips in here that you're going to want to listen to. If you don't want to pay for an alpha group or you don't have a bunch of pre-existing NFTs, this is the strategy you're going to need to use. I would highly recommend going over and getting on TWEETDECK and putting together a list of different collections and different activity that helps you find new projects super early on. One of the ways you can do that is by following me on Twitter, because I will be posting every time I find a new project. I usually retweet that project or talk about it on my Twitter, and a lot of times I find these projects pretty early on. Being on the search on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, finding these new projects that have a lot of potential very early on is going to be your best bet to get a whitelist spot for those projects. I know it's really tough to figure out which projects have a lot of potential and might blow up, but you have to take chances and find projects that you personally identify with, and make sure you interact with those projects early on, because as soon as they get more demand and become more popular, everyone is going to be a competition against you to try to get a whitelist spot. I've seen all kinds of different contests happen with different projects, things like rap battles, meme contests, art contests, singing contests, marble racing, giveaways. There's all kinds of different contests that different projects will run, and I would advise you to kind of focus on whatever contests you think you'd be best at, and a lot of times these creative contests are actually easier to win than you think. So get out of your comfort zone and give some of those a shot. I know personally some people have won rap battles and won meme contests that didn't take too much time to put together, but yielded them a whitelist spot for big projects that made them a huge amount of profit. I also recommend going in project discords and hopping on the voice calls, because a lot of times there'll be a bunch of people chatting in these discords. If you hop on the voice call, there's way less people willing to do that, and it might help you stand out. If you can talk to team members in voice chat, that will be even bigger, because I'll tell you from personal experience, seeing someone's name and hearing their voice more than once really resonates. It'll help them remember who you are, and it'll give you a much better shot to get whitelist than being drowned out in a chat that's constantly going. Okay, those are my 3 core strategies for how to get a whitelist in the current environment. And although it is a bit of a grind, I have to say it is sometimes really worth getting on a whitelist for big projects. And with that, I wish you good luck on your NFT whitelist endeavors. If you do end up checking out the Patreon and join it, come say hi, let me know you watch this video and join from here. We'll see you guys all soon. Have a fantastic day. Take care.